What's up guys, Tyler here at Motion Raceworks. Today, we're gonna bring you Fox Body drag wing. It's gonna be exciting. We're gonna show you how to install it, all the tools you'll need, and the proper instructions in order to do everything. Let's get started here. We'll cover the basic tools that you need. You'll need rivet gun, 11 32 and 3/8 sockets. You'll need 3 32 and 1/8 Allen wrenches, a number 11 drill for the rivets, which if you don't have a number 11 drill, you should be able to get away with just a regular 3/16 drill if you kind of work it out a little bit. And you'll want a permanent marker and some tape. So the first thing, you'll want to tape off your trunk lid because we're gonna have to drill the holes for your wing struts, and also we're gonna do a lot of test fitting with the actual wing deck up against the surface. We don't want to risk scratching your paint or anything like that. So first, lay down a good layer of masking tape, and then that'll also allow us to draw measurements and kind of mark where our holes are going to go ahead of time without having to worry about the paint too. Kind of the order of everything that we'll do here is these are your wing struts, so those will get riveted to the trunk lid, and so you'll have 4 of those. Once that's complete, we'll set the wing deck on those, and those you'll actually have to drill holes through the wing deck yourself. After that, we rivet on the wickerbill and bolt on your spill plates. So we'll get right into start marking the position of the actual wing struts. When you're installing the wing struts, first thing you'll notice is you have 4 of them obviously, but they are actually all different. So you have, on all these wing struts, the rivet holes, they go towards the outside of the car. So your 2 on the driver's side will be positioned like so, and then your 2 on the passenger side will be positioned like that, always with the rivet holes towards the outside of the vehicle. You can actually space these whatever way you feel, but on this car, we spaced them in 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the trunk lid, and the second one in is 17 3/4. So that gives us roughly the same amount of spacing between each wing strut, and I just did it that way to have them fairly equally spaced. But like I said, so you're drilling your own holes in the deck lid, so you can actually space them however you feel, but that's what we're doing here. Next important part will be the positioning of the wing strut. So what I like to actually do is you can take the spill plate and kind of use as a guide. If you hold the outer wing strut up, just lay the spill plate on top of it and kind of hold it square. If you pretend that this is your wing deck, you can use that as a guide for how the wing deck will meet up to the trunk even before you have that test fitted on there. So once I get pretty well level with the top lip of the trunk lid, and you just hold that in place, I'll just mark my holes right there. So there we go. So now I'll go ahead and I'll do the same for each of the other wing struts. So once you have all of your holes marked on your masking tape, what I would recommend is drill one of your center holes. So one of the 2 center holes, drill one of those in each location. Then you can hold your wing strut up with 1 rivet in place, and then if you need any fine adjustments, you can do that at that time before you have all the holes drilled and realize they're in the wrong location. You may have to tweak it a little bit even after you drill your first hole, so that's not a big deal if we just drill one at a time. Just like that, it's just that easy. So we'll just insert one of the rivets by hand and get it into the hole that we already have. And just make sure you hold it in place real well. Use your spill plate again to make sure your wing strut is in the location you want it. That looks pretty good for ours. And then just take your drill and drill a second hole directly in place. And at that point, I would wait to drill the others until you have those 2 rivets installed, and do the same for each of the other wing struts. So once I have 2 holes, I'll go ahead and remove the masking tape, install those 2 rivets, and then drill your second 2 holes and install those rivets. So we'll show you that here. Up. All right, so we got our masking tape peeled off. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll install our first rivet, which I'm just gonna do the lower top hole here. So you wanna make sure it's lined up with the second hole that you drilled also. Before you cinch it all the way down, we could actually take a second rivet and slide in there just to be sure. Go ahead and install our second rivet as long as everything looks good. So now that you have 2 rivets in, you can go ahead and drill your second 2 holes and install the second 2 rivets. And then repeat the process for the other 3 wing struts. Oh, Jimmy. All right, Jimmy. All right, so once you've made it this far, we're actually going to take our wing deck and test fit it across all the wing struts. If you peeled all of your tape off, you'll probably want to go ahead and put another row of tape right across the top, just so you don't scratch the back edge of your trunk lid while you're test fitting the wing deck, and also on the quarter panels. When you're test fitting the wing deck, a little bit of this will be subject to the car. Every car is going to be just a little bit different, probably depending on how your trunk's adjusted and all that. But one good tip, like your tightest spot will be right here in the middle. So I would use, this is like a piece of the packaging that the bolts come in. If you just double that up, and you can use that as a little bit of a spacer there, just to try and keep the wing deck from rubbing the paint. And then the other biggest thing will be your side-to-side movement of the wing deck. So go ahead and hold it down so it's sitting on the wing struts, and you can kind of feel it side to side and compare. You want to compare the bend line in the wing to the body line, and you can get it pretty close just by feel. Once you get that pretty close, I would use your tape measure, and you can actually measure from the inside edge here of your quarter panel to your bend line. And really you just want to make sure that that's equal on both sides of the car. So at this point, I would make sure you have a friend here to help you. Have them hold the wing deck in the exact position that you want it. And then you can go ahead from underneath and use your permanent marker to mark all of your very front holes. So if we mark all of the front holes, we'll take the wing deck back off, drill all those holes, and then we can go ahead and bolt all of your front hole positions in place and come back, and we'll drill the rest of the holes right on the car. So the front holes are the only ones that you wouldn't be able to drill on the car. And so your best bet is going to be to take it off and do those first. So you'll want to take your number 7 drill bit, or if you don't have number drills, a 13/64 is the closest fractional drill. So go ahead and take your drill bit and put some holes in this baby. So now you'll take 4 of your number 10 screws, and using the holes you just drilled, you'll bolt the wing in place, and the remaining holes will be able to drill right on the car. With the bolts all loosely in place, you should have just a little bit of slop, so you can use that to adjust your trunk gap at this point. Before you tighten your bolts down here, you can actually go ahead and remove your masking tape off of the trunk deck, the trunk lid. So once you have your front row of bolts securely fastened, you can go ahead and start on the inside 2 wing struts, drill those holes, bolt those in place, and then move to the outside and drill those and bolt them in place.
I might be able to use some.
So at this point, we can actually take our spill plates and bolt those to the side of the wing. And you'll see there in the wing deck, it's actually slotted. So that will give you some adjustability on how tight you want these to fit to the car. So that gives you a little bit of adjustment for wherever your wing deck actually ended up at. So go ahead and we'll loosely bolt these on so we can adjust them, and then we'll just kind of even them up side to side. Sweet. Okay. So now we're ready to install our wickerbill and wickerbill adjuster. The wickerbill adjuster will actually get riveted to the wing deck. The short side with the holes that are sized for an 1/8 inch rivet, that will go upward and underneath of the wing deck like that. And then it will use your 1/8 inch rivet from the top down, like so. You can start in the middle and actually work your way outward from there. You'll want to test fit a few of the rivets on all the ends just to make sure you have it lined up good to start with. And once that's done, you can start riveting from the center and work your way out. At that point, we can probably just go ahead and slip them all in. So once your wickerbill adjuster is riveted in place, you can take your wickerbill and use your remaining number 8 bolts and nuts and bolt it in place. So just go ahead and start some bolts all along the back just to get the wickerbill aligned. And then you can go ahead and tighten them all down. It's actually slotted, so you can adjust the wickerbill height whenever you please. You just go ahead and loosen all those bolts, and you can adjust up and down up to 1/2 inch. So once you have your wickerbill bolted on and adjusted to the height that you want, you're all done. So That's your complete setup. Quick recap, you rivet in your struts, you drill the holes in the deck lid, attach your spill plates and adjust those in the slots that are given. Rivet on your wickerbill adjuster and then bolt on the wickerbill. Thanks for purchasing the Motion Raceworks Fox Body Wing, and you're off to the races.